I'm going to take you through a little bit of a history lesson and show you the old way of writing text files, and just so that you can appreciate why we use things like Notepad. So what I'm about to show you used to be, in the 1980s, how programs were written. So you could skip this video if you want, but I still think it shows you some useful information about the operating system. What I'm going to do is show you the Windows version in another video. I'm going to show you how it's done on a Mac. They're different computers, different operating systems. So if you've got Notepad on Windows to do all of your work, you don't have Notepad on a Mac. Totally different, but you need to get to the end result. Actually, Windows has got a lot of editors that you can use, whereas the Mac tends to be very difficult trying to write programs in text editors. It was not really set up to do that. It's more of a command line, like we're going to see a bit later on. So let me take you through this. These are the two files that I created earlier. In fact, B was actually the Word document, so I'm going to just delete that for the time being. Let's put that in the bin. And I'm going to create a new file without using Notepad, just from what we call the command line interface. So if I go to start, now you can do this at home, you cannot do it on the school computers. This command line interface is blocked for you. And here we go. Now, when you start it up, it's telling me that I'm in my C drive in a users folders called Keith. And if we take a look on the Windows version in the folders, this is actually, this a.txt is in C users Keith desktop example. I'm going to have to change the folder to be desktop example so that I can write my file in here. And I do that with a cd command, change directory or change folder. They changed the word from directories to folders at some point when Windows came in. Change directory. So I've got to put in desktop because I'm already in Keith and I need to be in desktop example. And it's really not case sensitive. The Mac is, Windows is not case sensitive. Desktop and then example. So if I type that, change directory to that, then my path, this line telling me where I am in my computer system, is in here waiting for me to type something. So what I'm going to do now is the old-fashioned way of writing files. So before we had Windows and before we had things like Notepad, this was the way that it used to be done. So I can type copy, con stands for console. You'll see that word a lot and we use it a lot, particularly when we're programming, but console just really means the keyboard that's attached to the computer. Copy con to, let's say, b.txt. So I'm creating a text file called B, and when I press enter, the computer is just going to wait for me to type something. So I press enter, it's now waiting. So I'm going to type the letter B, and then I'm going to issue yet another command, Control and Z, which tells it I've finished and to close the file. So Control Z, and when I press enter this time, it will say one file copied and return me back to my folder. But you may have noticed that it's now created this b.txt file. And if I click on that, we can see that it's 1 byte long because I only typed in one character. And if I double click, it opens up in Notepad and we can see the letter B. So why have I done this? Just to show you a couple of things which you will need to know for the exam, which is this command line interface and how we used it, how to change a path. Although you won't be expected to do this, you will be expected to know about it. However, this one, copycon b.txt, is something that you would not be expected to know, and it's how we write a file. So in the next video, I'm going to kind of show you a similar version on the Mac on how files are written, just so that you can appreciate just how easy using a text editor is to all this command line work.